Tammy. We've got lots of questions to answer. We better get to it. Cinderella. Can you give a labouring dog vanilla ice cream for calcium? Thanks. So I've got a couple. You want to cue in on that, or you want me to go?
No, it's someone's own preference what they want to feed their dog, ice cream or whipping cream. I think whipping cream would probably be better than ice cream, don't you?
Oh, I don't know. You have to look at the calcium content. Well, look, here's the idea. The idea about this is you want to prevent eclampsia by giving enough calcium. So there's a couple of things. The first one is how well can you absorb calcium through food? And the answer is probably not very well. And there are other products that are probably better for this.
Powdered goat's milk sprinkled on their food.
So here's the next part of this. I don't think it's a good idea to start loading up on calcium before whelp, because there is some evidence that can actually make things worse, because the dog then all of a sudden doesn't start producing calcium because it doesn't need it yet. It hasn't really started producing milk yet. And so consequently, you give it lots of calcium, it actually shuts down its calcium supply. So I think that generally the idea is that you start giving calcium when you've got the beginning stages of you don't give food the day of a C-section, because you don't want the dog vomiting up when it's been intubated.
Well, so usually on the day of C-section, they're not eating anyway.
They shouldn't be. You don't want to get them to eat. Exactly. So the day after, the day you come home, Biljack's what we use. Load her up with some sprinkles.
Hey, there's times that I hand feed mama dogs after they've had babies, just to get them to eat, because you want them to eat. They've got a lot of babies to eat.
Yeah, they get slow to eat, right?
Yeah, but when your dog, the day you breed your dog, switch her back over to puppy food. Your female, when you're getting her
You're talking about the AI now, the beginning of it, when you AI.
Yeah, when you AI.
Right.
When you get your dog AI.
High protein.
You start right immediately, start feeding puppy food, whether she's pregnant or not. And this way, when the 30 days go by, you do the test that we sell, those little tests for seeing if she's pregnant, pregnancy test.
Relaxing pregnancy test.
Yes. Right. And it tells you did a good thing for 30 days already.
So this is not for calcium uptake. This is just to get. We don't want a skinny dog.
It's got some calcium to it.
Yeah, it does, but it's got more protein. That's the big thing.
It's got more protein, but it's got a little bit of that. So and vitamins are good to give them.
Spaceman 100, Spaceman Stew 100. I recently bred a lilac and tan female 2 times. The first time we bred her, she was over 18 months. We did a TCI, the Repo vet did semen analysis, it looked great, she didn't take. In the next heat, breeding, we did it on a 17. She didn't take. Yeah, well. So here's the first thing. You're doing it a little bit early. You're doing about a day early on those numbers. That's the first thing. If you've got a dog that hasn't taken, I recommend next time that you do 2 AIs, maybe a vaginal and then a TCI 2 days later. Spread it out to get a longer coverage window.
Be sure and write that date down on your calendar.
Right.
That you did that.
She says, I currently took a progesterone to see if a number is low or high. Low number would mean she's absorbing the pups. Well, probably not. I don't think I'm buying that one. Look, I mean, typically, on most dogs, their progesterone levels go up and stay high regardless of whether they've been bred or not. So I don't know about that last part. I don't necessarily agree with that. But I mean, and then it says, the next question is, it's spending a lot on stud feeds and repo work trying to get a take. Just curious if I should call it quits. Well,
how many times has she done it?
Twice. Look, I mean, the first thing is,
are they doing the progesterone testing on you?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. But you can get unlucky. I mean, there's a number of reasons why dogs don't get pregnant. The most typical thing is timing. The most typical thing is that you didn't get your timing right, which you didn't. So that's already a little black mark right there. You didn't really get your timing right.
I'll try one more time for sure.
I would say absolutely. So that's why I hit it with this. So the second thing is that I would say something about stud fees here, and I'm going to talk about us for a second here. Look, if you're breeding to us, you don't run up a lot of stud fees, and the reason for it is this. First off, you only pay $1,000 of the stud fee when you breed, and the rest of it's piled on the back end. And that doesn't get paid until you've got puppies and you've got them ready to register a litter. And if you don't get puppies, and that happens to us too, not like we're perfect, then the $1,000 you've paid is a credit that goes forward to any future breeding, any of your dogs, any of our dogs. So we're not tied. Lots of people, and I don't like this, lots of stud people will say, hey, you got to pay the whole thing up front. And if you don't get it after 2 goes, I'm done. We're walking away from it and keeping your money. I hate that as an answer. I've been in that situation where we had a breeding some time ago, $3,500, and we never saw a puppy out of it. We never got our money back. And I didn't go back to that person because of that. We don't treat people that way.
That was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. I don't even know who the person was.
Not anything recent.
No, it's a long time ago,
Yeah.
No, we've got a couple of, and I'm not knocking, I'm just saying that you need to find out what your
Read the fine print.
Yeah, find out what your situation is. I mean, nobody wants to think about it's not going to work, but if it doesn't work, where does it leave you? Does that leave you with an empty hand and no money in it? Because that's not a good situation.
You need a contract.
You need a contract, and you need to read.
Shit.
Good Lord, that person reading.
Scared me to death.
Yeah. So anyway, so there we go on that one. All right. So let's have a look here. So I'm not sure where the question was. Would you do it again? No, I wouldn't do it again. I'd try again. Honey says, another question regarding a contract. If a puppy becomes sick, which is due to the breeder and the buyer, takes the puppy to get treated, how would you deal with that in terms of the contract? I read a story that a buyer asked the breeder to pay, I think, either half or the entire bill. But the new owner refused to give the puppy back. They ended up paying a lot to give the breeder an extra bill. Well, okay, let's just talk about this in general. So the first thing is you have a contract for a reason. The contract spells out, look, contracts, when everything goes beautifully, the contract's never looked at. The contract's looked at when things go wrong. And so what can go wrong? Well, in this case, a puppy was sick. And so, most contracts, and not all, and you've got to go look at it, but most contracts will make a statement like that they're going to cover certain things in the event that a dog gets deathly sick. That, for instance, our contract covers, congenital defects that cause significant, detriment to their life or death till their first year they're old. Some people's contracts are more liberal than that. They might even do it for a longer period of that. But the point here is that when these things happen, you've got to think, from the seller's point of view, as a seller, you've got to remember that the people have had a puppy and they are now attached to it. And so you want to try to work this out in a way that everybody can walk away from the situation and not feel as though they got completely raped by the other party. So what would I do in a situation like this? I mean, if the dog's got coccidia or giardia, these are things that are very common, very treatable, they're not expensive to treat. So look, they've got a $100 bill, and you pay half of it, probably everybody's happy with that. But you're not obligated to do it by contract. Your contract doesn't say that. Our contract wouldn't say that. So I would just err on the side of trying to make people happy. That's the best, because you don't want somebody leaving unhappy, because those people tend to voice opinions about you that you're not going to like. We know we've had some of that, and we try to sort these problems out.
And let me just say this. Our contract is on our website. You download it, you copy it, you sign it, you send it a picture to us, and then we sign it, send it back to you. We've got it all on
and we advise that you do that.
Oh yeah, it's on our website.
Someone's asking about contracts, by the way, and I mean, if you don't have a contract, go look at other people's contracts. You can take their contracts and take out the stuff you don't like and put in the stuff that you don't have in there and make your own contract. It's not difficult to do.
If you're saying, well, I didn't get a contract, well, you're told it's on our website,
So, something else about contracts. Sometimes you see contracts that are pages and pages. And it's like, this is ridiculous. Ours isn't.
Ours is straightforward.
It's ridiculous. I mean, you've got people who want you to do certain things in the event with your puppy. I mean, it's not enforceable, folks. Just be reasonable about this. I mean, you could put a statement in there that you want the dog to be looked after, and of course you do. Not a lot you can do if it doesn't happen. That's the truth of it. So don't just get lines and lines and lines and lines of just, silly things in the event that something doesn't. Yeah. Anyway, enough of that.
Oh yeah. I mean, shoot, if somebody wanted to use our contract, they could copy it off and use it for their contract.
Barking Dog says, date on this small typo, it says 2023. Yep, you got a time machine there. Lucky you.
What is it?
Oh, I put 2023 on one of the dates rather than 2022. But maybe they've got a time machine. In that case, they can tell us in one of the videos.
Oh, yeah.
Just discovered your channel, thrilled with your content. Oh, you're welcome. Yes.
One of James's brain fart moments.
Yeah. She's a Brocksmith. She always comes up with good stuff. Regarding the constant panting, take your temperature first. That's exactly right. It's not a bad idea to pull a progesterone or ultrasound to make sure the pups aren't in distress. Yeah, so I don't know that the progesterone's going to necessarily tell you that the pup is in distress, but it's certainly going to tell you how close you are to potential C-section. And if you are 4 or 5 days away, it may mean that you want to give a product like Regimate to stave off the whelp. But yeah, I mean, dogs that got a lot of puppies on board, they can get pretty miserable that last few days.
Yeah, and plus you got to watch them real close because they could go into labor early because they've got so many in there.
Yep, and Susan says, try a cool pad for it to lay on. Make sure that she's in air conditioning. Yeah, I think that's all very sensible.
Yeah,
yes.
Your females should be in. Your French bulldogs should have air conditioning. They can't take the humidity in.
So that's another thing. People ask me what temperature should I have it for my dogs. So there's a couple of misconceptions here. The first thing
when they have puppies, you mean?
Yeah, well, one of them is they think puppies have got a temperature around 100 degrees, and you can't make the room hot enough to make the puppies happy. You're not going to get your room. If you put your room at 100 degrees, your mama dog and everybody else in the house is going to be PO'd. The only people who are going to be happy are going to be the electric or the gas company.
Oh, yeah.
So you can't get the room hot enough. You've got to have auxiliary heat for puppies.
Which
is our heated whelping kit, or
system.
Second best is a heating pad, and the one I least like is a
because it keeps mama cool in the middle, and the babies are nice and happy, warm under the heating room.
But remember, mum's got a fur coat on, and so she can get hot. Now, you will see dogs, and they're close to whelping where they start shivering.
Oh yeah,
and that's because their temperature dropped. Their temperature dropped.
Yeah,
and that's you don't want to go put those dogs under air conditioning.
No.
They're shivering. They're already cold.
Yeah.
So just watch out for that. So there are slightly make your dog happy best you can. But a dog that's full of 12 puppies is not going to be a happy dog until those puppies are delivered.
Oh, they're miserable.
They're miserable, and that's it for this one.
Think if you were pregnant. Not with 12.
If I was pregnant with 12, I would be on the Guinness Book of World Records.
Very uncomfortable that last month.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
The things you girls have to go through, it's crazy. I think it'd be much easier if you just laid an egg like birds do. And then you could either have a baby or an omelette. It would be so much easier. Oh dear. Thanks for watching, everybody.
I'll just kick you out and say that's got James's name on it.
On the egg?
Yeah.
On the egg. Okay. Well, there you go. See how well I'm loved. See ya. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate people who subscribe to me. It helps me, encourage me to do more of these videos. But do remember, disclaimer here, I am not a vet. I'm not a licensed medical professional. I'm purely a person who's been breeding dogs for the last couple of decades. Any information that you got from this video, use at your own risk. There's nothing implied here, and certainly this should not be used as a substitute for advice from your veterinarian or your medical professional. I hope you enjoyed the video. Come back for more of them. Bye.